Chevron is leaving California, and other reasons the real estate market is slowing down.
You're listening to the Home Seller's Advantage. I'm Aaron Zapata, your co-host.
And I'm Todd Anderson, your other co-host. We are the Bald Brothers team at Impact Realty Group with Real Broker, and we are here to give you the Home Seller's Advantage.
You can find us online at www.baldbrothers.tv. Again, that's baldbrothers.tv.
Or you can call us at 833-305-BALD. That's 833-305-2253 today.
Welcome back. I am Aaron Zapata, your host.
And I am Todd Anderson, your other host. And things look a little bit different or sound a little bit different than normal. Why?
Why? Because we are recording this one on Zoom today. Todd is working remote, and so I'm in the office. He is working remote.
I said, it's just too hot. I'm just going to work from home. It's too hot. I'm not coming in. No, the reality is we're busy, and I was out with the client inland, and it's made better sense to work at home. But we do not want to leave you hanging with real estate. We want to keep moving with keeping you informed. That's a home seller's advantage for real estate.
That's right. So we're going to bring you some topics today. We're going to be talking about companies that continue to leave California. We're also going to talk to you about the change that is happening right now in real estate when it comes to contracts. And we're also going to give you some indicators and reasons why we believe that the market is actually pretty slow right now, which, may be normal, maybe not normal, but we want to just bring that information to you so that you can make a decision for yourself, because our ultimate goal, as always, for this show is to make sure that you have the information you need so that you can make intelligent, informed decisions about your life and your real estate practices. Hold on. One of our videos started to play. A little early. There we go. That's the way it goes sometimes when you are working on the internet. So, all right. Hey, here we go. Let's talk about first things first. Big news. Another company has decided to pull its roots from California and leave. Who's that? Who are we talking about?
Surprise, surprise. Another company. This is a big one. Chevron. Chevron is leaving California. That's a biggie.
It is a biggie. And in fact, they have been in California for over 140 years.
They've been in California longer than we've been alive.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah. 3 times.
That's right. And so I wanted to play this clip for you. It is an interview that Fox News did with Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, and it's really good information. And just listen in here so that you can go ahead and hear what he has to say. I'm also going to share the audio as we do this. I want to make sure you are all taken care of here. Share sound. Share. And if you're listening to us on YouTube, or watching this on YouTube, you can see that we are not normally doing this, but we want to make sure that you get this information here. Hold on, here we go.
California, it's not just the people, it's the corporations that are leaving the Golden State.
It's the policy. That's the problem. I always say policy matters. I don't make money on politics. I make money on policy. What you're observing here, which should be very concerning if you're a resident of California, these are multi-sectoral moves. It's not just tech. It's not just energy. It's also consumer, fast food, almost every single sector. It's one of the biggest economies on earth. The companies are leaving because the policy no longer makes it possible for them to make money. So thousands, hundreds of thousands of jobs being lost. Imagine energy. You can't have an economy without energy. And this energy company, this legendary energy company, has been there over 100 years, and it's leaving. That's got to wake some people up. And as an investor, and I'm just pointing out the obvious, when you have weak management that makes bad policy in a business, I fire those people and hire new managers. I've been doing that my whole life. Gavin Newsom, and I've said this countless times, I like him, a nice guy. Horrible manager. Horrible manager. Just look at the numbers. Just look at what's happening. His mandate should be terminated, and he should be replaced. And I think about San Francisco. My son lives there. It's a war zone. Every weekend he calls me up. This is smashed. My house is broken into. I mean, what happened to California? Isn't everybody going to wake up and say we gotta make some changes here? I would, and I would never invest in that state. Never. I would never put a dime in there.
Governor Greg Abbott.
All right, so that's a pretty harsh criticism.
Yeah, those are some powerful words from Kevin O'Leary. And something that jumps out to me is he starts out with saying that this is a multi-sector issue. It's not just Chevron. It's just not just multi-billion-dollar corporations that are leaving California, but it affects every single sector of the economy. And that really is a reality and a wake-up call for us, the average Joe, because this really does affect us on multiple levels.
And you have other companies like SpaceX and X, formerly known as Twitter,
Yep.
as well as companies that have already left, like Hewlett Packard, Oracle. We have talked about many of the companies that have left. We've got small businesses shutting down. We've got restaurants closing down. We've got fast food restaurants that have been in cities for decades that are saying, hey, you know what, policy is so bad now that we can't afford to stay open. It's not safe for our employees to stay open. So you've got corporate management now making decisions to shut places down. And I agree with you, Todd. That's a very concerning thing for us when we look at multiple sectors. You got restaurants, energy, tech, R&D space. You got all of these different things, and they're moving out of California. And it's no longer just a small exodus. You add all of these up together, and there are hundreds of thousands of jobs leaving California, which means that hundreds of thousands of tax returns are leaving California.
Yeah.
And California already has a deficit of $21 billion this fiscal year. And so it's just going to get worse because you can't replace $180,000 tax returns too easy, especially when you're left with $20 an hour jobs at McDonald's. That's just not going to return the same amount to the tax revenues that the state receives. So it is concerning, and it is something that we're keeping track of, because if you're a home seller and you're looking at selling your home, you're going to want to make sure that there's enough buyers to be able to purchase your home for the price you want to sell it for.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. So all of these things are interrelated. They really are. And, we've noticed right now, here we are, we're in the month of August now. So we are in the back end of the summer months, as we push on. A lot of schools have gone back in session or are about to go back into session. And so we're in a time in which we have noticed, you and I have both noticed on our listings as well as the market as a whole, that the market has been softening a little bit. So you combine some, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that are causing the market to soften. We're going to discuss a few of those things, but you combine that with the information and news that you're hearing as well. All of these things really kind of are, we don't want to say that we're doom and gloom, because that's certainly not, but it is a sign of what's happening, and we need to be aware of these things, especially as homeowners and people who are trying to be responsible and wise stewards with the investments that we have.
So one of the reasons that we do see that the market is softening right now is the fact that there have been some significant changes proposed and that are now being rolled out in the real estate industry. But before I talk about those, let me just say quick thanks to Beacon Escrow here in California. It can handle any escrow needs for any occasion, whether it be a refinance or a purchase sale, or if you're an investor looking to flip, Beacon Escrow is a great option for you. And then also like to say thank you to Crosswalk Mortgage. Rates are coming down right now, so if you're looking at pulling equity out or refinancing, it might be a good time to call Crosswalk Mortgage. So just a quick shout out to some of the people that support us. We like to support them. So some of these changes that are going on right now. There are now 3 contracts that govern the transaction. Prior to this change, there were really 2 that govern the transaction. There's the first transaction contract, which is between a listing agent and a seller. A seller hires an agent to sell that home. They have an agreement between each other and in what is expected, what's going to be paid. And that has always been the case. In that listing contract, there was a section here in California that allowed a seller to say how much they were paying to a buyer's agent. And that has now been removed. So it's no longer part of the listing agent contract, which now brings about the second contract that governs a transaction. And that is a buyer's contract with their buyer's agent called a buyer broker agreement or an exclusive buyer representation agreement.
And by the way, let me interject. That agency document has always existed. That's always existed, but actually rarely used.
That's correct. Yeah,
not required for the transaction, but now it's going to be required.
Yeah, now it's required. Like Todd said, I think probably 1% of agents actually used it, not very many. But now it's going to be required every time an offer is submitted. And that agreement, if you're working with if you're a buyer, you need to know this, you are agreeing to pay your agent a certain percentage of the sales price in that agreement. The third agreement that governs a transaction is the agreement between the buyer and the seller. And that compensation to the buyer's agent is now one of the terms that is going to be negotiated in the contract. It really wasn't there before. It really wasn't part of the conversation, but the way the rules are changing now is that you have an agreement between a buyer and a seller, and it becomes a negotiable term, just like your sales price, your escrow closing date, and now it's a closing cost credit to potentially offset the commission that the buyer is paying the buyer's agent. Most buyers right now do not know that this change has gone into effect until they walk into an open house and now they're required to sign in. Like, you need to sign in or you can't come in, kind of a situation. Or they're going to write the offer and they want a buyer's agent to represent them. And the buyer's agent says, hold on, time out. We have a new form and we need to go through this and we got to make sure it gets signed. And buyers right now are like, hold on, wait a minute. I don't understand. Why do I have to sign this? What am I agreeing to?
Yeah.
So that's one pause in the market that we're going to see over the next month.
Yeah.
Buyers are educated on this process.
So this is slowing down the process a little bit, because it used to be real quick and easy. You write an offer for your client and move on and continue. But right now with every home, and this affects you as a home seller. This is the home seller's advantage. Be aware that now there's an additional step that buyers have to go through before they can even write an offer. So it's a little bit more tedious and difficult just to write offers. And so that is going to have an effect on the number of offers that are written on homes that are for sale.
And because of that pause, because of the complexity, because of the education period, it's just going to delay. So we're already at the end of summer where buyers tend to slow down anyways because they're putting their kids back in school. The big moving time period is usually summer, and that's now going to be behind us. And so that on top of a new contract and the rolling out of this timing, it's quite interesting because it's like a twofold double whammy. It's like, end of summer and a new contract and a new procedure that is not very beneficial to you as the seller in hoping that things would change or not change. Just let's just keep everything the same. Let's keep moving forward. That's not the case. Major changes happening right now, which will affect you as a seller.
Yeah. Not
to mention all the other things going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of stuff going on.
There's a lot of stuff going on. There's the Olympics, right?
Oh, the Olympics. Yes. I don't think anybody's thinking about the Olympics anymore. Just to be truthful. I mean, I watched little snippets of it, go America. We want more gold medals. But that's probably pretty minor on most people's lives, right?
In comparison with all the other stuff that's going on right now, yes, it's much more of a minor issue. And we've got some of the headlines that, of course, that are obviously going to be trending. The opening ceremonies and some of the other things with particular athletes. But other than that, it's kind of taken a back seat to things that are happening. And worldwide, there's a threat of war. We've got things happening on not just a national level, but an international level as well. And that anytime that there is fear and uncertainty and doubt, people tend to pull back and they're less likely to want to make any sort of move, whether you're listing your home to sell or whether you're a buyer wanting to engage in buying a property. Because, hey, what happens if the economy crashes? What happens if this happens or war breaks out? And so when there's uncertainty, people tend to pull back. And we believe that's one of the things that's also leading to the softening of the market.
Another item that's really affecting us is the volatility of the stock market right now.
Yeah.
We see that the, panic set
Mhm.
in over this last weekend and
Yeah, just plummeted.
and people are selling stocks and people are nervous and there's lots of postings about it. And again, that sense of uncertainty creates a pause in the market.
Mhm.
People don't want to make the biggest financial decision of their lives when they're uncertain about their 401ks,
Mhm.
when they've watched their stock plummet 30% overnight. I'm not saying it did. I'm just saying some people might have. Some people are in cryptocurrency and they saw huge declines in value.
Yeah.
Those kind of things just make people nervous, and nervousness breeds delay, fear, more delay, which eventually makes the sellers nervous, and then the sellers start to reduce prices, and it becomes a kind of a vicious cycle.
Mhm.
Um, we don't want that to happen to you. So if you're looking at what's going on in the market, of course, we want to help you determine a good list price, a good selling price, and a proper strategy to help get your home sold.
Yeah, so we've got several things, and we've talked about the change in the real estate transactions and the forms that are required. Talked about worldwide issues, the volatility of the stock market, and then of course, and all of these have to do with fear and uncertainty. And then of course, this is something that happens every 4 years. Is the election cycle, and
Yeah.
specifically the presidential election cycle. We've got multiple election cycles, but the 4-year presidential election cycle always causes things to slow down until after the election. And of course, we've had a lot of drama in U.S. politics in the recent weeks with the Joe Biden dropping out and Kamala Harris being the one. And I mean, all of this adds to a tremendous amount of uncertainty, which causes people just to pull back.
Yeah. And so if you're in the process of thinking through what are you going to do, at some point, you just have to say, I'm moving on.
Yeah.
I am capitulating. I can't wait anymore. It's time for me to go. And we've had a lot of sellers that have made that decision this year. We had one that recently said, you know what? It's time to go. They've been holding on for years. And thankfully, the price has gone up over those last couple of years, but their intention is to eventually move out of state. And they're like, it's time to go. It's time to
Yeah.
list. Another set of clients of ours move into the Carolinas, and the same thing. They've been wanting to go for a long time and decided now's the time. We're going to go. We're going now. And both of these sales actually still, even in the midst of this kind of crazy time, produced record-setting sales for their neighborhood. So even though it's volatile, even though it's a little slower, there is a chance that you're still setting records for your home sale. And so while we don't want to be doom and gloom, we do want to be realistic. Those record-setting times may be behind us as we head into an election time period, as the world continues to get kind of crazy right now.
Yeah.
We really don't know. And we're not prophets. We don't see the future, but we do know where we're at right now. And that is with our active listings that we have, and Todd and I are actively selling homes. We have showings that are way down.
Mhm.
We have fewer offers on homes than we used to get. And we have buyers expressing and verbalizing these concerns that we've brought to you today. So this is in the trenches talk. This is what we're seeing every day.
Yep. Yep, very much so. And those of you who are tuning in, if you have questions and want to know a little bit more about your particular scenario, because each area, each locality is unique. We almost all of our transactions are Southern California, but there's a big difference between what's happening in Orange County versus Los Angeles County versus Riverside County, San Bernardino. We've got one coming up in San Diego County that we're going to be going over, and each and every one is affected differently by all of these things we've talked about in real estate in the news.
That's right. And so we want you to give us a call. If you have been waiting patiently for us to give you our phone number, thank you so much. The phone number is 833-305-BALD, B-A-L-D. That's 833-305-2253. You can also go to our website at baldbrothers.tv, and you can take a look there about all of our blog posts and our articles and our links to our podcast. But we do want you to like and subscribe, and we want you to comment. We do read the comments. We follow through in the comments, and we want to say thank you if you're a new subscriber. Gina, I know you're a new subscriber, so I want to say thank you for subscribing to our channel, for listening to us, and for trusting us for your real estate information. Todd, any closing thoughts before we close up here today?
That's it. I'm done thinking.
You're done thinking. All right. Well,
it's too hot. Too hot to think.
Too hot to think. Well, we've got some more properties we're working on. In fact, we've got 6 or 7 properties in the pipeline.
Yeah, we got seven coming up, and we've got about 4 of them coming up in the next couple of weeks, actually.
That's right. So if you're looking to purchase a house in Southern California and you want to be put on our early alert list, please follow up with us on our website. You can also check us out on Instagram at Bald Brothers Team, and you can follow us there as well. Thanks for tuning in. We look forward to bringing you more information next week. I am Aaron Zapata signing off.
And I am Todd Anderson, also signing off.
God bless. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Home Sellers Advantage. The Bald Brothers Team is a licensed DBA of Real Broker, licensed by the California Department of Real Estate, number 02022-092. Again, we do not give any real estate, legal, or financial advice. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can call us at 833-305-BALD, or you can reach us online at baldbrothers.tv. Equal housing opportunity.